What up, figure freaks, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing a review of the Marvel Legends retro carded mini comic gimmick ROM the Space Knight. Now, when I first heard about this wave dropping, I got pretty excited because there's a few things that I was excited about. ROM being number one as a classic 80s character that the rights kind of got moved around. It was, who was it? It was Parker Brothers, and they made the little electronic toy with the LED lighted eyes, with barely any articulation, but that's what spawned the comic book series. And this was a character that kind of doesn't really associate much with the rest of the Marvel Universe. You know, he's kind of like Chris Starr or Conan back when he was a Marvel character. Wish we'd get a Conan action figure, honestly. But, he was one of those guys that you didn't see intermingling with the Avengers or the X-Men. But upon further research, he did mingle with the X-Men, and I believe he fought them. Here's a little picture of the old Parker Brothers toy, and then some covers of the comics where he interacts with the X-Men. Get a better look at the packaging. Here we got the card, the retro card that looks very much like a comic book cover, as you see up in the corner here. We got that little image square, says number one, Marvel Legends 1979, which is when ROM the Space Knight debuted, also known as ROM of Galador. He was Galadorian, and I think he was a humanoid first, and then he was kind of, his essence or mind was transferred into this robot, and he became a Space Knight. And there are a few other Space Knights. Maybe there's a lot more, I don't know, but it seems like it's kind of a guild. The original toy was Parker Brothers, and then they got the license to Marvel Comics, and the debut comic was 1979, and it ran till 1986. Apparently, his original name was Cobol, C-O-B-O-L, when it was Parker Brothers, and when Marvel took it over, he became ROM. So, here you got him in his badass armor. Apparently, the armor grants him a lot of abilities, including superhuman strength, durability, flight, space travel, and self-repair. He has some weapons. Up here is his laser rifle, but they called it the Neutralizer. And it was given to him by the Galadorians to fight the, the Wraiths. And apparently it's known as the best weapon ever. And then also here you got another little pistol, and you got the blast effect that connects onto both this one as well as the Neutralizer. You got the little mini comic gimmick down there. Pretty cool card. Nifty idea. I just don't know if you need the mini comic, but it's kind of cool. Give it to other characters like She-Hulk and Deadpool and people that might break the fourth wall. I'm not going to have ROM holding his fucking comic book. We got the rest of the line here. I did not order Miles Morales. I actually just ordered Ultimate Iron Man 2 days ago, and I got it today from Amazon. Thanks, Amazon. Adam Warlock and Banshee should be showing up soon. And then with my two ROMs, I got two of them. I got a pair because I was so excited about ROM, but I also got Dakin. He came in today, so pretty nice little haul for the day. We got a little read up here. In ROM number one, the Space Knight ROM tracks the vile Dire Wraiths, that's what they are, across the cosmos, arriving on Earth to continue his pledge to defeat them. And you got, of course, the little comic book. You got all the other mini comics in the line. Pretty cool. let's break this guy open. I'm pretty excited about this one. All right, let's check out paint, articulation, accessories. As far as paint, it's all silver. Very shiny, very nice. There's some little paint apps, like I really like the eyes here. It kind of gives almost like a glowing effect there. It's kind of lighter in the red in the middle, and then around the outside of the eyes, it's kind of got a more darker red, almost like splash pattern. So it looks pretty glowy on top of that black there. Very true to the comic book style. You got the little red down here, as well as back here. It's kind of like a little bit painted onto these side walls here, so it almost looks like his jetpack is kind of like flaring up a little bit. You got the red back here as well, but other than that, it's all silver. Yeah, I mean, I think it is, except for the black and the lens there, the visor or whatever, and some red. It's all silver, so pretty much monochromatic on this guy. The accessories are decent. We got the mini comic over here. We got a pair of extra hands. He comes with 2 C-grip clasping hands. He comes with 1 fist, and then of course this open hand, which I think is kind of neat. It's kind of a glove style with no fingers. I'm loving this figure. It's ROM was is very reminiscent of like almost like an old 50s or 40s style alien that you'd see in the old movies, like the Close Encounters, like the serials and that kind of stuff. Attack of Mars and War of the Worlds. Kind of a basic old looking robot, but they did really well updating it. It's pretty much the same look as he had through his early comic book career. I know when he was sold off to IDW, he kind of posed a little bit of a different look, but yeah, this is a great looking figure, I gotta say. The articulation ain't bad either. Let's check it out here. The head twists all the way around. Looks down about like that. You do have the neck ball down there inside the body, as well as up here, just beneath the head. So it gives a little more range of motion. He looks up like that. Not too horrible there. Not too bad at all. Arms twist around, raise it up like that. You got the bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, pinless, swivel and pivot at the wrist, of course. And then you got the diaphragm swivel, so he twists around like that. And this thing goes up a little bit, but goes down quite a bit. And then you bring that along with the stomach crunch, and watch this. Wow, you're very gifted, ROM. So that's pretty nice. The backpack doesn't get in the way. There is no thigh cut. Oh wait, there is. It's underneath this tall boot here. So you got the thigh cut right about here. It twists all the way around. You got the double jointed knees, and he can easily kick his butt or his jetpack. And then you got the rocker swivel and twist on the ankle. Really sharp looking figure. I like it. Also, he's got his 2 guns. He's got the neutralizer, which I am assuming is this bigger one, and then a smaller version, or like a pistol. Maybe it's his little backup. He doesn't have a holster, but he also has this neat little blast effect, so we can neutralize those dire wraiths, which I'm a little confused about the dire wraiths. I thought they fought the X-Men, and they're these ugly little troll looking things that took over your mind, but maybe they are the same. Maybe that's why ROM teams up with the X-Men. I don't know. But pretty cool. Well, what else is there to say? As far as license, he was sold to Marvel sold to Hasbro and Marvel from, what was the toy? Oh, Parker Brothers. And he had a nice run in Marvel from 79 to 86. Then he was having comic books made in IDW from 2016 to 2020, and now he's back with Marvel currently. He came back around 2023. So you might be reading some comics and he might show up. So yeah. Pretty nifty figure. I'm digging it. We'll kind of pose him out while I jibber jabber about stuff. In 2017, he got a San Diego Con action figure, but it was part of a bigger set, which was the IDW set, but it was made by Hasbro. And let's see, it included Jetfire from Transformers, Roadblock, G.I. Joe, Action Man, Leoric from the Visionaries, Matt Tracker from Mask, Micronauts, ROM, of course, and then a Dire Wraith, who is ROM's enemy. So let's show you a picture of that set, or a few pictures of that set coming right up here. All right, so we got that set by Hasbro. Then we got a picture of an IDW version of ROM right here. All right, let's quick measure this guy and see what his height is. We got the ruler busted out right now. He is 6 3/4 inches, just maybe a tad higher, but not quite hitting the 7-inch mark there. So he's a pretty tall figure. Here he is reading that ROM #1 while blasting somebody's head off. We'll show you a nice picture of the actual comic coming up right now. ROM #1, 1979. We're just going to mess around with some poses here, and I'm going to talk a little bit more. I looked up like some of his enemies, and again, he has very much mingled in the Marvel Universe. One of his biggest enemies, it says, is Galactus. Some guy named General Colton. All right, here we got ROM up on a flight stand, flying. And he does have the holes on the bottom for stands and stuff, but also what works is these thruster effects. So got him pinned into the bottom there, just to add some coolness. I know he's got the jetpack, but you know, what the heck. Some of the other enemies I found was a guy named Hybrid. We got Manta, who was actually part of the Shi'ar Imperial Guard, along with like Gladiator and some of those other guys. Fang. Also Quasimodo, which I thought was a pretty cool take on the Hunchback of Notre Dame. So if he's enemies with Quasimodo, he's probably enemies with the Thinker, because I think the Thinker kind of helped to create Quasimodo. Here is ROM crawling. Terrax was also listed, as well as some other Space Knights, a guy named Dominor, Heatwave, and Rake the Breaker. Also, very much to my surprise, and this was a shock to me, but Unicron was listed. So I guess he's going all over the place up in outer space and even interacting with the Transformers. So pretty wicked. All right, we're going to do comparisons, but first I'm going to rate this action figure. ROM, I'm going to say he is at a 8.5. Now, I know he's very simple. The paint is monochromatic. It doesn't look like much, but the articulation is dope. He is very much looking like the source material. It's a great sculpt. You know, there's no like paint mishaps. It's a lot of silver, but there's no rubbing. There's no like icky parts. It's a very solid figure. And I think the articulation is kind of what does it for me. You can get him into way more poses than you would think. And he's a lot of fun. Accessories decent. You know, the comic book gimmick isn't really a factor for me. It's just not. I mean, it's kind of a cool little thing, and, you know, it'll be fun for taking some camera shots, but other than that, it's not really a factor. So, it's going to be an 8.5, and this will probably go on my top 10 list unless we get some really wicked stuff in the second half and the last quarter of 2025. Can't believe we're already approaching May. It just feels like 2025 has gone by so fast. So let's do some comparisons. Speaking of ROM and how he is, you know, didn't really mingle with the rest of the Marvel Universe, I kind of made me think about somebody else. And I saw it in another review where they brought out Chris Starr. You know, kind of somebody that's just a little far-fetched and away from the rest of the Marvel Universe, but you might see him interact after all. But there's other characters like Arak and Conan and, geez, I can't really think anymore. I know there's a few of them, but, you know, they kind of did the same thing with DC. You know, there was a lot of titles out there that, you know, had characters that didn't really interact with like Superman or Batman. You know, it's kind of like that. So here we got Chris Starr. I would love if we got a Conan figure. And then we're going to do another silver metal looking robot. And we got Ultron with this little crackle coming out of his mouth. Bring this guy back over here. And then another enemy that was listed, or another bad guy, I should say. We got Terrax, who is one of Galactus's minions. This is the old one. I heard the new one's not really worth getting, although look at the paint rub that's coming off here. You get this red shit down on his belt. So maybe I'll have to think about it and get that 2-pack and maybe sell this guy. I just don't like the way he holds his axe. It's horrible. This thing keeps falling out of his grip. So maybe it's time to move on and get a new Terrax with whoever the other guy is from that 2-pack. All right. We're going to be doing a lot of comparisons here, kids. All right. We're talking about how he went up against the X-Men. So I was going to bring in that old school vanilla squad of the X-Men, Colossus, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, and Storm. But we're mixing it up, and I'm bringing in some alternates. We got Helverine. We got Age of Apocalypse, Nightcrawler. We got the bearded Colossus, and then we got Bloodstorm. Now, this team might be a little more ferocious than what he was dealing with when it was just the old X-Men. Wonder if he'd have a little more trouble with these four. I'm an X-Men freak, so I'd probably be rooting for the X-Men. But who knows? Who knows? And of course, we got little Miss Lion down here. And then let's see here. Let's bring in... Uh-oh. We're going to have to pan out. There's quite a size difference there. We got the Hulkbuster Iron Man armor. huge. And then we're gonna bring in, sorry about the shakiness, guys, but we got Holocaust or Nemesis. Oops, sorry, guys. Shit. Oh, well. Let's see here. Uh-oh. I'm gonna try something here while I got Nemesis out. With this. No, that looks like it's gonna be too... Oh, no. No good. No good. So, as you can see, ROM's the smallest. Boy, these two figures, ROM and Nemesis, great action figures. I'm 100% he's making my top 10 and probably top 5 and probably a solid top 3. We'll see about that. This Nemesis figure is awesome. Big, bulky, scary looking. The armor is awesome. The articulation's not too bad. This, meh, I don't know. He's alright, I guess. Where can we put this guy? Alright, and then we're gonna bring in one more. Oh, gotta reach way over there, but we got Galvatron, who I'm working on his review. I know he's an older figure, but I just picked him up off Amazon for something like 24, 25 bucks. So yeah, do a little review of him. I'll probably skip the transformation. That shit's burning me out, man. So yeah, 8.5 on the ROM. I want to go higher, but you know, he's just a big piece of silver shiny metal robot, and he's getting an 8.5, which I think is pretty good. He deserves it. It's a great figure. I would recommend picking this one up. He is, I think, on Hasbro Pulse still, but he might be sold out. I don't think he's on Amazon. He's the only one from this wave. So I'll be doing the Dakin review pretty soon, along with the Ultimate Iron Man is coming up. And hopefully Banshee will show up here. I'm really excited for that Banshee. So, guys, thanks for watching once again. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate all the likes. Subscribe. Again, I hit 100 subscriptions. Super happy about that. Thank you for watching. I talked to a guy, and he wants me to do a figure room tour along with my top 10 favorite WWE elites. So that's going to be coming pretty soon. Expect that this week. Have a good one. I appreciate it once again. We'll check y'all later. ROM is the shit. Peace.